getting over that garbage. We're on to a new matchup. Atlanta at Tampa Bay. Over-under is 37. Woo. Pretty low here. We got a lot of low over-unders. Yep. Buccaneers are favored by 2.5. Who are you starting in this matchup with the Falcons?
For the Falcons, well, we're passing over Ritter. I like Drake London.
Yeah, great matchup this week.
He's on the up and up. The Buccaneers just got torched by the Lions, and I'm on Raw. So, yeah, and the Falcons' passing attack is on the upswing. So, definitely would take Drake London to start here, especially with the Bipocalypse. You're going to hear me say that a lot. And then other wide receivers, can't really name anybody, so we're not starting them. I can't.
Yeah, it's really more the tight ends here. I mean, what about Kyle Pitts and
Jonnu and Kyle are both startable?
I think they're both startable. I mean, Jonnu here, his fantasy outputs have been, for the past 3 weeks, 15, 10, and 13.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, it's the 21st best matchup, so it's a little worse than what you want.
Yeah, but the Buccaneers' overall pass defense is pretty bad. So
yeah, and they use their tight ends a little differently. They've been targeting him a lot.
Yeah, you kind of line up on the outside.
I think you start both Pitts and Jonnu this week.
I'm a little bit more afraid of Pitts actually, but I think they're both startable. And then Falcons' defense was sneaky good, pretty sneaky good. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to be good against the strong suit of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's really up to if Baker doesn't do well, he throws a lot of picks, you're going to have a great matchup with this defense. They're going to score a lot of points.
So do you see it as a boom or bust? Like the defense is either going to do well or
they're not a running team, the Buccaneers. So at least they're not efficient doing that. So, the
Falcons' pass defense is decent. So.
Yeah, they're like the 28th best against wide receivers. Against quarterbacks, though, maybe that's just a rushing issue. But, yeah, they're middle of the road against quarterbacks fantasy-wise. So
yeah, you could do worse with this start. You could do better, though. Okay, and then depressing. I'm depressed.
That boy ain't right. That boy ain't right. That boy ain't right.
You know who I'm depressed about?
Yes, Chris Godwin.
No, we're still talking about the Falcons.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
You're
Mustard.
You're
a Mustard man.
Oh.
Bijan
Mustard. Gotcha. Yeah, he's got a decent matchup, or not decent. Okay matchup, middle of the road.
He just has not lived up to the number one pick hype. He has 0 touchdowns on the year. He's given you a pretty safe floor, but he's been vultured a little bit. The Falcons' offensive game planning is not giving Bijan what he needs.
Yeah, he's just got a decent floor. He's going to get you maybe 15 points.
You're definitely going to start him, but we're really hoping for a 20-plus burger here. It's time. It's time for a touchdown for Bijan. This is week 6. Come on.
Yep.
Week 7, sorry.
Yeah, I don't see Algier as anywhere close to a start at any point in time.
No, you didn't think so?
Nah, he's not even getting over 6 to 8 fantasy points a week.
Buccaneers' rush defense is pretty decent anyways.
Yeah, they're middle of the road. They're the 22nd, best matchup. So, they're not great. So, but they're more middle of the road.
All right, and then the other side of the ball, what do you think about the chef?
Yeah, let him cook.
You want to start Baker?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll let Russ do the cooking.
Yeah, stick with Russ, but yeah, as far as
Baker, no.
Baker, you're not starting him. You're not even putting him in your daily fantasy lineup.
He was looking good at the beginning of the year, but maybe a facade.
Yeah, it was, but he's accurate deep, and that's why Mike Evans is a great start at week to week.
Yeah, I think Mike's going to help him now that Mike is back. Speaking of that guy, what do you think about him? this week.
Yeah, he's a hard start for me.
Way hard.
Yeah, I think he's gonna probably outscore Godwin every week.
Yeah,
going
Godwin's
forward.
the question here. How much confidence do you have in God?
0.
Wow, freaking atheist over here.
No, I mean the power is all within us. You know, we're our own gods, and he's his own Godwin.
He's the win god. He just needs to switch his name, his last name, flip it around.
Win God.
Godwin to win. Chris Wingod.
Yep.
And
but I'm not starting him this week. I mean, yeah, you're probably, if you have him, you are. But I'm the guy who just sees the trends and knows that it's just not. I'm not willing to.
So you're gonna wait for him to see more targets before you start him?
Yeah, I mean, he does get a decent amount of targets. You know, he's 6, 8, 5, 11, 0, then 7. But 0 was on a bye week, of course. But I mean, it's not amazing. Amazing targets, and they're not valued targets. They're not deep down the field like Mike Evans is.
Well, PPR targets are PPR targets.
It's true.
Okay, so I think you could, but I think you could start Chris, especially this week with your limited options. And then, who's the Buccaneers tight end?
Cade Otton, baby.
God,
he's on the field all the time, and they don't do nothing with him.
Hot Caden. God. Okay. Yep. You're not going to do anything with him either. And then,
even though Atlanta allows the 6th most fantasy points to tight ends,
maybe he'll blow up this week and he can become the new Jake Fergie or something.
Daily fantasy for sure.
Yeah, daily. Okay. And then Rashad White.
Rashad Wright.
I mean, Rashad Wright.
I don't want to start him. I wouldn't start him. I mean, Atlanta is 29th best matchups for running backs, so they're pretty good overall with their defense. Yeah, I mean, Rashad White's not averaging more than 15 points a game, and that was just from the sample
he's
against
a volume
Chicago.
play. He's got to eat and eat and eat. Like, I don't know. There's something wrong with that boy's stomach where like he eats 5 meals a day, but he can only bench press like a couple reps.
Yeah, he's getting about 15 rushes and like 2-3 targets a game. 18 opportunities isn't bad, but he's not showing out on fantasy, so I have him on my bench.
Oh, okay. I probably would start him this week, but this is a special week, so I'm saying more often starts than not start because of the state of the week and the injuries and the buys. Okay, and then Buccaneers defense against the Falcons. I kind of like this D here.
Yeah, I mean home. Yeah, it's a decent matchup. I mean, I would choose others, but
I kind of see it about the same as a Falcons start.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two kind of similar. Like you could start either of them, you could do better.
I think Falcons are a little bit higher on my rankings as far as who I'd want to start, just based on how they control the clock, less opportunities for Tampa Bay to actually score. So,
gotcha. All right, let's keep it rolling.
we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Chicago Bears. Another low over-under, 37.5. The Raiders are favored by 3. Surprise, surprise, with Justin Fields being out probably. So how do you feel about Las Vegas Raiders at the Bears?
Matchup of backup quarterbacks, Brian Hoyer going against the Bagman.
You whore.
Going against you Hoyer. Going against the bag boy. He got the bag. Chicago Bears got the bag. I mean, we're being real here. What was the question that you asked me?
I mean, how do you feel about basically Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer this week? Because obviously you're not starting Hoyer.
I kind of like Mayer the most out of all of those, given the backup quarterback state. I don't think Hoyer. I think it hurts Adams and Myers' stock here, but I think it does nothing for Meyer as far as like it doesn't hurt his chances. Backup quarterbacks can still throw to tight ends. But I think you're still starting Adams and you're still starting Myers because they've been so good and consistent recently.
I agree. I actually see Adams starting with Hoyer as a backup. I feel like Adams is going to be a safer
better.
dump
Yeah,
off.
Myers was almost like the one for Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Those three players are all startable. I think Josh Jacobs startable.
He's in.
Yeah, he's in for sure.
I think all these offensive players feast.
I mean, we're also facing the Bears defense here
exactly.
too, so we had to think about that.
They're all good matchups for every position, skill position player.
Yep. And then the Raiders defense against the Bears. Yeah.
Especially with
Especially
this no
with
name
the bag boy.
With the bag boy in. I mean, who even knew this guy existed until this week?
I mean, he did probably. He probably knew himself existed. All right.
That's too deep of a
unless
philosophical question.
He's an NPC. He might be.
Yep. Bears throwing out an NPC. So
NPC quarterback.
So so what do you think about all the offensive players skill position wise for the Bears?
What do you think about the Bears? This is really tough. DJ Moore. I mean,
I would be so scared with this low over under being the underdog at home. I wouldn't throw out DJ Moore.
Sit him, you think?
Flex at best.
Yeah, he's had one good game really, and man, it is really, really tough. You might not have any better option, but yeah,
Raiders are a decent matchup, middle of the road. So I mean, it's not like they're gonna. It's just having that backup unproven. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the state of your team, really. That's the best answer I could give is just it depends. If this were last week or normal week without all these buys, I'd say no, but you might have to throw them in there. And then other Bears wide receivers you're not touching. And then the running back room, I don't know if Rashawn Johnson has been cleared from the concussion, but probably will be. And then Deonta Foreman. It's those two guys. What do you think? Like,
if Roshan's in, I'm starting him.
Yeah.
RB2 category for me.
Okay.
So I would be the most confident in him this week as far as Bears skill position players.
Yeah. With the is Roshan a pass catcher? Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah. So I agree with that then for sure. Especially with the bag boy under center. Roshan seems the safest out of everybody. The only tough thing I see there is Foreman vulturing some stuff. But yeah, I would go with Roshan. Would you start Foreman?
I would not. He didn't do great last week, even though he had a fair amount of touches.
What do you think about Cole Kmet? I mean, he bombed last week.
He's in my lineup, man.
Yeah.
And I hate it, but I'm going to shoot my shot again.
Okay.
Hope his talent.
They had more time to game plan with the bag boy. Last week was just, he had to come in for that injury. So maybe they can game script Cole Kmet into some short checkdowns.
I mean, with his buys, I'm kind of stuck unless I want to actually start John Smith over him. And,
it could be a good
it
start.
might come to it, so you never know, but I think you can start him based on his talent and upside, even though backup quarterback's in.
All right. And then the Bears defense you're not touching, so we are moving on to the next one.
That boy ain't right.
You don't play it, just play it.
Oh, wait, let me hit this one.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Yeah, they're who we thought they were, just like always.
Awesome. We got the commies at the capitalists. No, I'm just kidding. New York Giants. So, over-under's 39, another low over-under. So what do you feel about Sam Howell? We already talked about him. He's in.
Yeah, he's in. They are the capitalists. They chose to pay Jones instead of Barkley. Yeah, Howell's in. This is a great matchup. We're going to be playing so many Commanders here. Howell has looked frustrating at times, but I think he's still on track to be a really great quarterback.
Yeah.
Really consistent quarterback. And this is one matchup he could just... They could pull like a Seahawks against the Giants from 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a great matchup. What about these wide receivers? You're probably confident in Samuel.
Is hard. This is really hard. It's a rock and a hard place here. I mean,
Definitely confident with McLaurin. So what are you doing, John Dotson?
oh man, as much as I hate to say it, I think you're starting Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
It hurts me to say it. The man's name is Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
Like he belongs on an 1800s farmhouse, like churning butter. Oh, Mrs. Samuel, can you get me my robe? Oh, sure, Curtis. My cock slipped out. McLaurin? Yeah, you're starting McLaurin. The only one I'm not starting is Dotson here.
Yeah.
Really disappointed. I'm really sad because I drafted him, had to drop him. Just I don't know what's going on.
He's a great
there.
talent.
The offensive play calling for the Manders just sucks. It's terrible. They're not setting up Howell to succeed. He's succeeding in spite of it, in spite of an O-line that sucks. But like, come on, you gotta throw to your studs. You gotta throw to McLaurin. Dotson is a stud. You gotta throw to him. But we'll see how things change and evolve. But so those are my starts for wide receiver. What do you feel about those three?
Yeah, I mean McLaurin, Samuel's in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's it.
you don't have Dotson.
Yep.
So yeah, what do you feel about Logan Thomas? You think he has a good start this week?
Yeah, I think he's definitely startable.
Yeah, I think he's a good stream for tight end. Lower on my rankings, but he could be done. I love Brian Robinson this week. He's going to feast.
Yeah, B-Rob. For sure.
Eighth best matchup. But yeah, I mean, I think that's where you have all the players in.
Yeah, and their defense against the Giants?
Yep.
For sure.
Comey's first best. It's the best matchup for opposing defenses.
Are we facing Tyrod Taylor? We're facing Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, great defense here. And then Barkley?
Yeah, I think you have to start him.
Yeah.
He's back in. I think he has a decent week.
Mm-hmm. Pretty safe floor for Barkley.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no passing options really at all for the Giants.
No. I mean, Wandelele, bench stash.
Yeah, I mean, you just hope he breaks out at some point this season.
Are you keeping him stashed on your bench, or are you setting sail on that? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's that highly coveted, but he is the best talent as far as wide receiver.
I guess
on this
in
team.
deeper leagues for a bench stash, but with the Giants' mess at quarterback right now, he just not really worth it. Hoping he gets traded or something.
I think just Waller is the only one you can really start as far as pass catchers at tight end, but don't expect a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm so glad he's not on my team anymore. Okay, let's go.
You don't play to just play it.
Alrighty, our next matchup is the Arizona Cardinals at Seattle Seahawks. Over-under is 44.5. Cardinals are underdogs, 7.5 points. How do you feel about Joshua Dobbs this week?
He's not in streaming territory. Seattle's defense is good enough to make him not streamable. I think you only want to stream him in the rarest of cases against the crappiest of Ds, and Seattle doesn't qualify there. Not for me. That's a no for me, Doug.
Yeah.
That's a no for me, Josh.
What about DeMarcado or Kendra?
No, this backfield is a total shit show, and I don't want to touch it.
It's not Kendra Miller. What's his name again? Keontae Ingram. Yeah, we found it.
We got it there.
Not Carry On Johnson.
Yeah, Carry On
Not
Ingram.
Kendra Miller.
Carry On Ingram. Carry On Johnson came back with a new disguise a mustache.
Keontae Ingram. But yeah, okay. I see Ingram kind of breaking out over DeMarcado if he's back.
Okay. You keep an eye
As
on
far
that.
as wide receivers, I mean,
Browntown?
no,
No?
yes,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah,
Especially this week. And then Michael Wilson, I think, is a sneaky play.
yeah, I think
He's been up and down, but like I think he's a sneaky flex if you're really hurting.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a good value at daily fantasy. I don't see, anything wrong with that.
Okay.
What about Trey McBride? He's starting to take over targets from Zach Ertz. What's going on here?
The wedding coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, yeah, it's just it means it's bad for Ertz. Like you don't want to start Ertz anymore. He's not the safe option anymore.
Yep.
But it's not doing anything for McBride himself.
Yeah, neither of them are in my lineup. But yeah, see McBride as probably potentially overtaking the targets.
Talk to me after the big day when he's no longer McBride and he's just McMarried.
McMarried.
Trey McMarried.
Trey McMarried. Always a bridesmaid. Never a bride. Never a McBride. But seriously, you're not starting the Cardinals defense. But as far as what I was saying, Kyler Murray is coming back soon.
Designated for return.
What do you feel about these options?
When he comes back?
Yeah, when he comes back. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see Brown being a great play after that. He's just going to raise the floor of everybody. And Michael Wilson might become a regular start, a regular flex. Rondale Moore, I don't think is ever going to have any value this year as far as fantasy, maybe in DFS. But I think it's going to improve the running game. It's going to improve the tight end game. But that still might be a non-starter there because of the split that's starting to show up there.
Yeah.
And so I think it raises the floor for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have an IR spot, I'd snag up Kyler Murray right now.
Yeah, Brown's got the most. It's going to help Brown the most. He's got the past history with Murray. So, yeah, his Brown. If you can trade for Brown now, definitely do it. And then Geno Smith been really upsetting lately.
Oh yeah, I mean I understand that completely. I drafted him to start the season, but I think he has a great bounce back this week. So I would have him in my lineup if I had him.
All right, and then Seahawks pass catchers also pretty kind of a conundrum there. It's like
it's
we
just
have no
really
idea
low
what's
floor
going on there.
and no ceiling. Yeah, it's odd. It's basically because of Geno Smith's output. So I see.
That's true. Yeah, it's all limited there.
Yeah, DK's the safest. I mean, he's always been getting 10 or more points. So that's who I have safe.
Yeah.
And then
He's a man playing angry right now.
yeah, it's a great matchup. So I think you can start Lockett.
Yep.
JSN just out. Just keep him out until he
JSN
breaks out.
He's staying there on my bench. He did get a few downfield passes last week. I think it was just a couple, but JSN, come on, baby. We need Geno. We need the real Geno to come back.
Yep.
2022 Geno.
Will the real Geno please stand up? No Fant, not happening.
Nope. CD.
So, Kenneth Walker, obviously, in your lineup.
Yeah. And Charbonnet is relegated to drop.
Yep.
Yeah. Kenneth Walker, the safest option in the Seattle offense right now.
Oh, for sure. He's the best option.
Yeah.
And the Seattle defense, I'm starting them this week. They have a pretty good matchup. Middle of the road, but I just like the talent of this young defense. Legion of Doom coming up.
Legion of Doom 2.0 coming back. All right, here we go.
Are you kidding me? That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Where are we at in society today?
More garbage.
We got them Pickens Steelers at Los Angeles Rams over under 43.5. Rams favored by 3. So you're starting Jalen Warren this week, aren't you?
I am starting Jalen Warren this week. I am hopeful that the Steelers took a few naps, played a few games of Monopoly during the bye, and that they came back and just realized, what the hell is Najee doing on our team? And I hope that Jalen Warren just grabs that starter role by the balls and just frickin' squeezes it real hard. Yeah, we'll see if that remains to be seen. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm hoping it's happened, but I think both Najee and Jalen are starters this week. I actually think Jalen is a safer start.
Yeah, I'm not starting Najee. I think Jalen's flexible. So, yeah, that's my take. What do you think about George Pickens? And Deontay Johnson might even come back this week.
Yeah. I think George Pickens could be a flex at best, but this Rams D is actually pretty decent. So I don't. And Kenny Pickens is just really so terrible. I think George Pickens is a flex this week if you have to.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup. There is basically second worst or third worst matchup in the NFL. So, but Pickens is a great talent. I mean, so much athleticism. I think he can overtake the tough matchup. What about Freiermuth? How do you feel about him? His chances this season or this week? Sorry.
I think you could do worse than a Freiermuth start. I'd throw him in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just watch his injury status. Hopefully he's in this week. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think he's startable.
Are you starting Deontay Johnson if he's cleared to play this week?
If he's cleared to play in PPR, I might flex him, but I'd just give him the week to figure it out.
Yeah,
against
first
a tough
week
matchup.
coming back from injuries, especially a tough matchup, that's pretty tough. And then Pittsburgh's D against this Rams offense, which is pretty potent. I don't want to start him even with Kyron out. I don't want to do that. So
yeah, it's a good fantasy defense, but I don't like this matchup, so I'm not gonna put him in my lineup.
Yeah, they do force turnovers and stuff, but I mean Puka and Cup are just gonna score on him too much. I think make it worth it. So Stafford, throwing him in.
I think you can throw him in. I mean, he's a safe floor. He's not going to get you anywhere close to 20 points, but it's kind of a middle-of-the-road matchup. So I think
he owned in our league? Because I never see him on the wire.
Yeah, he's like back. He's the third quarterback on somebody's roster. I think it's Nicky or Austin.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah, those teams roster multiple.
Well, I think you can throw him in your lineup, but I don't expect a lot of points. He's not averaging more than 15 a game. So
and then Cup definite start. Puka, Puka's a start. Despite last week not doing too great, still a start. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, and I even think Tutu Atwell could be a fantasy start.
Oh, okay.
Daily
You think
fantasy.
so? I think he's done. Oh, daily fantasy.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
All right.
But Tyler Higbee, I wouldn't start him this week. Just going to be a little bit tougher matchup with this Pittsburgh defense.
Rams defense, I like this a lot. I had the Rams defense and dropped him for the Browns D, but I would not have had any issue starting the Rams D against this Pittsburgh O.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good matchup, higher percentage owned. So yeah, I mean, if you have them, you're gonna use them.
Cool.
So we have the LA Chargers at the Chiefs. This is the matchup to watch. High over under 48. AFC West showdown. Chargers 5.5 point underdogs. What about Herbert this week?
Yeah, if you have Herbert, you own him. He's in your lineup. Chiefs defense is pretty good, but I just temper my expectations for him. But Definitely play him. Didn't look great against the Cowboys last Monday, but the Cowboys defense is better than Chiefs defense. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're that much better than the Chiefs. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I was high on Herbert. I was high on the over/under last week with the Chargers against the Cowboys, but yeah, I mean,
So you don't have high expectations for Herb?
after seeing him last week, I don't. I mean, with Mike Williams being out the rest of the season, they've taken a downturn on their offense.
Maybe Mike Williams being out has really hurt his output. And Austin Eckler being out, Austin Eckler's first game back last time. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're onto something. I mean, QJ is not performing up to expectations. Palmer neither. They're just not functioning without a functioning Mike Williams here. So I agree with you there.
Yeah.
And then talking about those Chargers wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Joshua Palmer's probably not in your lineup this week. I mean, definitely not Q. But yeah, Keenan Allen's probably the only thing you can start.
Okay, you could put Palmer in as flex if you had to. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, he got a lot of targets last week, so
Yeah,
I think he's a flex guy, personally. And then Parham or Everett.
Everett for sure. Parham is just a touchdown dependent tight end, and he hasn't done well since Michael Williams went out for some reason. Gerald Everett got most of the targets at tight end.
Would you start
I wouldn't
Everett this
start
week?
him,
No.
but if he can just get back to last year's glory, I mean, he's a good talent.
And he's a trade target then. Right?
Yeah, it's the 17th best matchup for tight end, so they're middle of the road matchup. It's kind of a tough matchup for wide receivers.
This Chargers defense against the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, not even.
Mahomes is in your lineup. Now Rashee Rice.
He's not really up there in targets and snap count, but he's just, when he's in, he's getting the balls to him, and I see him breaking out at some point this season. But I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't be confident in starting him this week.
I think he's a flex candidate for this week. You'd be like shooting your shot on his breakout for this week, and I think it's possible. So I put him in as a really risky flex play for me. I'm really trying to consider with buys and all this. Would I throw this guy out there and I'd put him in that category. And then obviously you're starting Travis Kelce and Pacheco. Yeah,
he's in. You're hoping Pacheco starts getting more targets. He had his most with 6 last week. He's. I see him breaking out as like a really good talent on this team. So if you got Pacheco, you're happy, and he's in week to week, I think.
Cool. And last bit, Kansas City defense against the Chargers.
Yeah, I'd put him in this week.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a high over/under, but I see a lot of turnovers, I mean, I just don't trust the Chargers offense. They're hot and cold.
Yeah, losing that tall boy bet really set you off on the Chargers, it seems.
Yeah, but maybe Vegas knows what they're doing, so don't listen to me. If the over/under's this high, maybe I'm totally wrong again.
We shall see. All right. Someone got a double clutch on that one. Okay.
All righty, the Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos. Over/under is 45. Oh, yeah, baby. Packers, it's basically a pick 'em, but they're favored by 1. You like Jordan Love this week.
I do like Jordan Love. The only thing that gives me trepidation, there's 2 things. Well, the Packers against the Raiders before the bye, Jordan Love looked like dog shit, smelled like dog shit, he tasted like dog shit. But the previous 4 games, the sample size before that, he looked good. His receiving core is really good, stout, up and coming. I see him having a bounce back game against poop defense. The other thing that gives me trepidation is the Broncos D looked decent last week against the Chiefs on Thursday. So there is that chance that they are like actually figuring it out and aren't going to be.
I think it was
bad.
more the weather though that week. It was terrible weather during that game.
I didn't actually watch a game, so
yeah,
just look at the stats. But yeah, what do you think about Love this week?
Yeah, I think he's a hard start, a good streamer. Yeah, it's just really he just needs to develop his accuracy, and I think he's a week-to-week starter.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully he makes it happen. And then Green Bay, we got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
If Aaron Jones is out, I'm starting A.J. Dillon. If Aaron Jones is in, obviously you're starting Aaron Jones no matter what.
Yeah, you're not starting A.J. Dillon if
they
Aaron
got
Jones
a great
is in.
matchup this week. No, I'm not starting A.J. Dillon if Aaron Jones is in.
Okay.
They got a great matchup. A.J. Dillon does not see the field when Aaron Jones is in.
Okay.
So very much, at least.
Okay. And then all these Packers receivers. I see Christian Watson, Dobbs as starts. I even see Jaden Reed as a start, as a flex if you're desperate. But I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely daily fantasy for Jaden Reed. I mean, but yeah, all three are great. You could see them all getting over 10 fantasy points. But safest
you had to pick
play.
one. Would you pick Dobbs? Safest play?
Safest play, Dobbs for me. But Christian Watson could be growing with Jordan Love. So you might see that rest of the season.
Freaking wish I had Dobbs on my roster. Damn it. And then Packers defense against Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can start them, but it's not going to be like, it's not like the top of on my list.
Yeah, I think they could do all right. They could also do mediocre, but I don't think they're going to kill you. We skipped over Luke Musgraves. I'm liking Luke Musgraves a lot.
Oh yeah, this week he's potentially a guy that I want to pick up if I don't
rest of the season kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think he could break out into tight end 1 tier, Dallas Goedert type. And then on the other side of the ball, baby,
You gotta be unlimited.
He is limited though. Not unlimited at this point. Yeah, I mean he started off great this season. He's probably still up in QB 12 category, but
he had his worst game of his third worst game, lowest passing yards of his career against the Chiefs.
Yeah,
last Thursday. I
don't see him doing great in this matchup. It is at home, so he could potentially break out.
Yeah, I think you're just always risking a dud from Wilson every time. Like, he's been decent, but he does throw in duds there every once in a while. You do have better streaming options out there on the wire, probably. Sam Howell, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford. These are all guys. Jordan Love, all guys I would take over Wilson this week. If they're all taken, okay, go for Wilson, but if those guys are taken.
Yeah, it's the 23rd best matchup, so I mean you're getting up there. I would see just based on his projections. I definitely don't even see him as in the streaming category this week.
Yeah. And Judy Booty might just be playing Xbox on the sidelines.
Yeah. Now the only person you can confidently start as wide receiver is Courtland Sutton, and that's just based on his tight end efficiency or his touchdown efficiency this season.
Hortland Slutton.
You whore!
Yeah. I've waited for the other shoe to drop on Cortland, but he's still producing. He's only had one dud week.
Yeah, and that was against
his targets are pretty
Chiefs.
consistent, but he's kind of have touchdown. His production's been hidden by touchdowns he's been getting. So, but if he keeps getting those touchdowns, I don't know. He's touchdown dependent.
Yeah, for sure. And
Mimsy?
Not Mimsy. I mean, hopefully he'll break out this week, but again, it's the 25th best matchup for wide receivers. So
yeah,
really just Sutton is the only guy I'm touching.
We got Javonte and McLaughlin.
I'm not really looking at starting either, but Javonte is back and healthy. I'm putting him in my lineup.
Okay.
Over McLaughlin.
Barry McLaughlin. And then
Perry McLaughlin.
Perry McLaughlin. Frick, who is
It is a good matchup. It's the fourth best matchup for running backs. So, yeah, I mean, Javante's healthy. He's in.
Who is Dulcich is on IR still.
I think he's coming back. He's doubtful this week, but he's off of IR.
I don't know who the other tight end is, so don't start him.
Yeah, Troutman.
Yeah.
He's not a pass catching tight end.
Yeah. And then Denver defense, you don't want to start at all. So
No, they're bad.
No, they're bad. That's it.
Alrighty. On to Sunday night, Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles. Over under 52 points. Boom, 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 boom. That's going to be a high over under.
There we go. The over under. We were going to hit that.
Yeah. Dolphins are actually underdogs by 2.5. Philadelphia Eagles coming off a loss. The Jets. What do you feel about Tua?
Going to be a shootout. So many startable players in this one. Tua.
Yeah.
No, the Phillies' pass defense sucks. Run defense, great. Gotta start him.
Yeah.
And he's tier 1 startable no matter what. But, yeah, this is going to be a good matchup for him.
Yeah, I see them using the pass game at every skill position.
Yeah.
So,
I got to freaking play your wife with Tua.
Yeah. Tua and,
Dude, she doesn't have any players on buy this week. It's like, come on.
yeah.
How did I run into that?
Yeah, for sure. But,
gonna
hey,
lose.
I mean,
Anything can happen any given week.
yep.
All right, and then pretty much all these Dolphins you're starting. I mean, you're starting Waddle, you're starting Tyreek.
Yep.
And then running backs. Well, the running backs are kind of, we got Ahmed, we got, I don't know,
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson coming back.
Yeah, he might be coming back
Chris
this week.
Brooks.
Yeah. I would just start Mostert confidently and then just go from there.
I mean, you gonna throw any of these other guys in your lineup? Take a shot.
No,
Ahmed.
not at this matchup. It's not a good
No.
matchup for what running backs. They're going to use Mostert in the passing game a lot. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, there's other options you can find out there. Even with all of the crap going on, the buys, there's better options of running back. Because if you started one of these guys, it could just be, there's a high chance it could be a goose or 1 point or whatever. And then Gesicki.
No, Smythe. Kaseki's in
2 years ago, baby.
New England. But yeah, Smythe, he's not really been getting targeted at all.
Yeah.
I would just, not doing their defense either. So
No, Dolphins Z, no. And then on the other side, you're starting Hurts for sure.
Yeah.
And then these two receivers.
You're gonna flex Devonta Smith anyways, no matter what.
You're hoping for a bounce back from him.
Yeah.
At some point, it's going to happen. I mean, I think it's going to happen. And then DeAndre.
DeAndre Swift is in your lineup. It's gonna be a juicy matchup against the Dolphins. So
Goddard, you're playing him. I'm playing him. And then, the Phillies. The Phillies defense, Eagles defense against Dolphins, that's a no.
Yeah, it's a decent defense fantasy-wise, but not for this matchup at all.
Yep. All right. Moving on to Monday night.
You whore! Are you kidding me? That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Where are we at in society today?
Alrighty, Monday night, 49ers at Minnesota Vikings. Over-unders 44. 49ers are favored by 7. They're the away team. So, not looking good for the Minnesota Vikings. So, how do you feel about Brock Purdy this week? Great matchup across the board.
Yeah, definitely a start.
Yeah. Debo, is he in your lineup? He's got an injury, so.
Ooh, it's really, really risky. I mean, Debo could blow up and have a great game. I mean, if he's active, I think you're starting him. I mean, he could. I don't know. I think the ceiling is too high where you got to start him.
Yeah, I mean,
He's active.
He's day to day, so just monitor that for Monday. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if you find any more information, definitely pivot. But if you're stuck with him and he's out Monday, that kind of sucks for you. So
Yeah, Joe Brandon.
yeah, maybe.
No, Joe Brandon. Ayuk.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Okay.
I think with it being a good matchup at wide receiver, you can definitely flex him. But yeah, I mean, he could be a great start if McCaffrey is definitely out this week. But
You're higher on him if McCaffrey's out.
yeah, so they're going to use him in the running game. Same with Debo. So
Now this is a really tough one because CMC is not ruled out. So if you have CMC, you got to hold on to him. But then it's Monday night. You need to have Jason Mason on your backup, Jordan Mason,
yep.
as your backup on your roster if you are a CMC owner, or Elijah Mitchell. Got to have one of those guys so that you can at least throw in somebody, because if you don't have either of them and then CMC is ruled out come Monday night, you're getting a 0.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if CMC's in, you got to start him. So
If he's active, if CMC is active, if they say that he's like gonna play, you're gonna put him in. You're gonna keep him in that lineup spot and not pivot. And
oh yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
what if he's questionable for the game? What are you doing?
Well, eventually, when it comes down to the game, if you have those backup options, that's when you pivot.
So
when
if
you know
there's
he's
any
not going
chance
to
he
play.
can play, and you have those backup options, you're not gonna roll with anyone on Sunday instead of any of those three. You're gonna it's gonna be one of those three.
It's going to be one of those three. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just with this great matchup, it's like the third best matchup for running backs. So
Okay.
I mean,
and then CMC is ruled out. You going with Jordan Mason or Mitchell?
I like Mitchell actually more than Mason.
Okay.
But even though he snapped him last week when McCaffrey went out, I like Mitchell more. So is that a tall boy bet? Mitchell more fantasy points than Mason? Jason Mason?
If McCaffrey is out,
Yeah.
the tall boy bet that only applies if McCaffrey's out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So what's this? Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell, fantasy point bet, and then the other one was a Ravens-Lions win.
Yeah, Lions beat the Ravens.
Okay, two
outright.
tall boy bets. Let's see. I'm 3-1 so far in tall boy bets. I think.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Let's do it.
Had to get another one in there. But
Certified tall boy bet.
This is a certified hood classic.
Yeah, I had to get another one in there. All right, Jason Mason, do me right.
Yep.
And then Georgia Kit.
Yeah, I think George Kittle's a good start too. I mean, overall, the whole board, Vikings defense is not great. So
Okay. I just always see the problem with the 49ers where there's too many mouths and not enough food to go around, but that's always the case. And then the 49ers defense against the Vikings here.
yeah, I'm starting them. It's also a good matchup for the 49ers D.
Yeah, they're just overall great, and they're going to bounce back from a tough performance against the Browns last week. And then, over on the other side of the ball, Kirk. This is going to be tough against the 49ers for these players.
I think if he's in your lineup, you're using him. But, I mean, just adjust your roster accordingly because he's not going to be outscoring, you know.
Right, don't expect a lot. It's going to be limited ceiling for sure.
He's not going to be outscoring a Jared Goff this week. So, so what about Addison and KJ Osborne?
I think still the upside with those guys, with JJ being out, is too high to not start them, even against the 49ers. I think one of them is going to have a great day, and the other is going to be disappointing. I just don't know who it is, but I would shoot your shot on either of them. Maybe I'm slightly higher on Addison, though, just because
I am too. I agree with you. He's got deeper targets. I like him. Young rookie, he's shown that he can do it. So, So what about,
Madison?
No, Madison. Or did you just say Madison? I thought you said Addison. Madison. Can't hear it.
No, I said Madison.
Madison. Yeah,
I get you though. That's an honest mistake.
It's a tough matchup.
It's a tough matchup. I think you got to start him this week. Temper expectations.
Yeah.
But I think you got to start him, and then Akers is not relevant yet. So.
What about the Hawk? The Hawkinson.
Hawk. Yeah, I see him as a decent start this week. I mean, Kirk might have to throw to him a lot. So,
yeah, I mean, even against tough matchup this season, he's got you 10 points. So, I mean, it's the 27th best matchup, so.
Yeah, I think Hawkinson is matchup proof at this point.
Yeah, he's going to get you 10 points this week, and hopefully he can get you more.
Yeah. And then the Vikings defense against the 49ers offense, you don't want to touch them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's pretty bad defense.
Pretty bad. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our podcast, our show today. We covered all the matchups. Anything else you want to cover here?
No, just good luck with all these injuries and buys. I mean, hopefully you're one of the ones who doesn't have anybody injured and no one on bye facing your opponent who's struggling.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we all catch some wins this week. Brevin, you can catch a win if you want to make a trade, but that's up to you. Being an ass. All right. Hit the wrong button. That wasn't directed towards you, Brevin, but maybe it was. All right. We'll see you on the next one. Keep the wands up and
wands up, baby. Jet fuel and stuff.
Jet fuel and stuff. Watch out for planes heading towards your Hogwarts castle.
Yep. Donnie Darko and shit.